Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to higgsfield.ai, or .ai. I thought while working quite heavily on this next Terra Tamer's music video, / the first music video I've ever done AI stuff with, that I might help new people learn a little bit about AI and everything. So right now I've been using Cinema Studio 3.5 quite a bit. You can click here and find other models that are a little bit cheaper on credits. But generally, what I've liked about the Cinema Studio is you can reference characters and locations pretty well. You can, I think, only do 3 characters at the moment. And in this right side, we actually see the AI director. We can click on it in Cinema Studio 3.5 and have that pop up. Now, just note, if you switch to something else like, let's go Kling real fast. This AI director, never mind, it's showing up again. Okay, well, in the past it was not showing up for me, so maybe that was just a weird bug in the past. At any rate, so that's working. But all these element tags that I had for each character and scene and things go away because Kling doesn't use the Cinema Studio function. So we go back here. This is basically CDance 2.0, if I remember correctly, for the actual AI video model being used. But you can type in something like an @ sign, and then you can reference, say, a mono lion. Yes, the mono. He is there. We will now get rid of the mono lion. But yes, I have found the AI director quite helpful. You basically just tell it which characters you have in your scene, reference them if you have them ready, and then it'll help you create a better prompt. Now, just keep in mind, it might change some of your details in the prompt, like it kept wanting to give Matthew Wong here some black pants instead of his cargo pants. So, you know, it's one reason why the element I think is nice. It should be able to reference that image, even if it types something weird, but you do have to double check pretty much everything it writes for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you though, once you have created elements and things, you still actually need to check their eligibility. So right here, I made a character reference sheet for Juan wearing his raiment, and we haven't made that eligible. So if I try to type over here in the AI director at Juan raiment, it'll show up just fine here. And we will try to have Juan, need that little @ sign at the top, transform in this next scene. One transforms and dons his raiment. And we'll say luchador raiment, because why not? And it should be able to reference everything we created in the element and the descriptions and everything. We can go check out our elements tab. See that right here. We can see identity, features, all that jazz. Go back to our project. That's very important. Make sure you click your project, because things you've created in your project, it will try to reference in the AI director for you. So yes, you want to make sure you have your project and everything selected when you're doing this. That does help. And everything I just did went away, and I am sad. Transforms into Juan raiment. And summons, we'll start from scratch with this next character, Rockong. At the moment, though, we're just going to run this AI director so you can see what it does. So we put it in here, it thinks, tries to figure out shot composition and everything like that. And then it will, in fact, create a big old prompt for us, which is pretty nice. It'll also include some of those details. And Rockong is in the folder, so it's smart enough to know that. Real badge icons, and it is a creature. Yep. And it wants me to say more. Okay. So, we will in fact go to our elements, create a new element, and we'll upload an image. So one trick I've been using to save credits is just using ChatGPT with the free plan and being able to create character sheets and things with it. So what I'll do is have a render. I was able to use my original sketch, pump it into this thing, tell it to render it, and lo and behold, you get a pretty good Rockong. Yep. pretty happy with it. And then you can tell it this kind of prompt. Create a cinematic character sheet in the style of official design documentation, blah, blah, blah. And then it will make this glorious art, which is wonderful. And exactly what we need for higgsfield.ai. So we'll go back there, go in here, pop that in, make a character. It gets mad. I'll choose category first this time. There we go. So yes, there are little things that aren't optimal in Higgsfield, but it does work. We'll do that. Kong child. There we go. And then we can give it like an identity, features, etc., etc. So we'll say Kong gorilla child. And if I wanted to, I could go back to ChatGPT, find like the 22-inch tall fantasy baby gorilla. Glowing bioluminescent outline around its silhouette. Very important. So we'll do all that. We'll then pop it back into Higgsfield. Okay. So we've got all that. I'm going to get rid of this professional photography style ending to the prompt because we don't need it. And that's basically all features anyway. So I don't think I need to change anything there. And I just get rid of that. There we go. So, alright, we'll just keep that. And as an example, here's what we've said for the lion in the past. You can have locations as elements, as I mentioned before. So this is an example for the theater. It will be in the video. So yes, we'll go back to our generation. Okay, so we've got this. I wonder if I can just type in @rawkong. What will it say? Is it smart enough? Because it does remember things you've said previously in your prompts, so I kept trying to like give Matt Juan's cross necklace, so that was kind of funny. Let's see, Rock On Child confirmed. The badge summon. Yep. Okay. So it also warns us some of the things the engine may have issues with, which is also very nice. Still thinking though. So hopefully this will go well. And that is the hope. Fingers crossed. Alright. So yes, we get that. Wonderful. And then it tells us a little bit more information after the whole prompt has been written and everything. The prompt is in this section. If we just click apply changes, it'll take anything that was in here and just overwrite it. So know that. Now, that said, it's keeping the previous start frame, which I don't actually want for this section. Let's see. Aha, and as we see here, because we haven't created an eligible rockon, we're having issues there. So we go to elements, and we click on this check eligibility of these two. So as we saw, we have this really weird, character reference tag, and then that should update as our eligibility gets checked on those images. And I can appreciate them trying to, make sure there's no NSFW stuff and all that. And so on and so forth. So it's doing that. It's trying to make sure there's nobody that looks too much like a real person, I think, as well. So hopefully that is not a problem for us, since I am trying to use realistic generations. But yeah, we'll see. That has led to some problems in the past, and is one reason why it takes a while to make these. But I am glad they are trying to do the right thing. So, you win some, you lose some. Trade-offs, all that. But now, Juan Vasquez shows up, Juan Raymond shows up, Rock On Child does. Okay, so we can read through this. Young Latino man in a white tank top and jean shorts. Okay, and now it's referencing the theater again, which we're not actually going to be at. Maybe it'll just be in a forest location. And it'll be post-apocalyptic. There we go. Very important. Alright. We'll get rid of all this stuff about the theater. Okay, his body ignites with a neon green bioluminescent outline. Very nice, sharp and blazing. No. His clothes do not tear away. So yeah, we're gonna delete that. Okay, the new outfit will be manifesting, I guess is the best way to put it. There we go. He is now Juan Raymond. Okay. Luchador. Okay, he's going to click the badge. Get Rockon materializing on the ground beside him. And I could use that Rockon image as a reference for like the ending. That wouldn't be too bad. So we can upload that media. We have to check eligibility again. Unless I've got it somewhere else, but I do not. Okay. And I believe you can use around 3 different reference images for a single character as well, but I've done pretty well with just 1 or 2, where usually it's the character on a colored background of some sort that they pop out against. Could be easily removed as a background and still have the character, and then that reference sheet that I've created. And I'll try to keep the prompt in the video description below, so that you can also try to do this. Okay, we're getting the rock Kong checked. And then once it shows up, we should be able to just pop it in by clicking on it. Yeah, and then I can select the little 3 dots that show up in the corner once we get the rock Kong in. So that should let us create it as a start frame, end frame, that sort of thing. Let's see then. Anything else we need to change? Green outline flaring. Pretty happy with that. But as you can see, there's still lots of little details you've got to pay attention to, which makes sense because it's trying to come up with something from nothing, which is pretty hard. Pretty hard. And you've got to give it something to latch into. So I can show you some funny examples of some of the opening sequences where I was trying to get this older man running past a kid, and it was not working as I pictured it, let's put it that way. But it technically worked, which to the AI is all it's looking for, right? Is technical victory. So there we go. Let's check. It is in. We can click it. We can put that as an end frame. Okay. So this is pretty important. Also note, when you apply changes, it usually keeps the duration at the full amount. That's going to cost you a ton of credits, as is this high resolution. We're going to change that down to 720p, so we have the amount of credits spent. And then I'm going to make that like, I don't know. I've had pretty good results with 6 to 8 seconds in general. And then you can speed that up later or cut it and get the best parts that you want. That does mean it's going to be more credits. You could save 20 credits here by making it 4 seconds, but it probably wouldn't get all of these actions out. I've noticed the AI seems to have kind of slower, smooth actions, so I think 6 to 8 seconds is generally what you want to do for the amount of actions like we have in this shot here. So I'm going to try for 8 seconds. We're going to run it. It's going to take a while, and I will pop back in when it's done generating, and hopefully it won't have some weird issue with the transformation. If it does, we might see a couple of failures on the next time I pop in. Alright, looks like we're done. It shows up at the top left here. And it took about, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. There we go. Okay. So Juan disappears. Okay, but that's all right. We get pretty much what we want. I'll take it. Wacom is looking adorable. Oh man. Since I don't have infinite money and things, I'm not going to worry about it too much. There's a chance we could try to just edit this in something like DaVinci Resolve, which is what I used, and maybe make it less that Juan disappears and more that we just cut over to Wacom popping into existence. Either way, overall pretty good result. I'll take it. If you want to see a bad result, let's go back to this one, I think. What was it? This one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So yeah, I was trying to tell the AI to have the kid holding out his hand to stop the bear and letting the guy run past. Well, he's running past, so yeah, it got the idea, but not the intent. So, fair enough. Fair enough. But I have had some success using, like, instead of Cinema Studio, Kling 3.0, and it's a little bit cheaper, so that's pretty good too, if you're trying to be careful with credits. But yeah, overall, I've enjoyed my time with higgsfield.ai. Don't know if I can keep affording it, but, you know, I'm almost done with the music video, and with the Plus plan, I've used over half the credits just on videos, so I haven't done really any image generation other than the first little test trial they had you do. I've been able to do ChatGPT, and that has been pretty good, honestly. And I think Nano Banana is usually another good one if you need to replace things in an image. I have had issues with it on a different service where sometimes Nano Banana would be great and sometimes it would just like not pay attention to what you're saying. So, you know, keep that in mind. Using AI is still kind of like gambling. You direct it as best you can. You hope it works. You have all your details correct. And overall, it should be a pretty good experience and get you something that you want eventually. I figured I'd give a little bit of an overview of what's happening now that I'm almost done with this month. Decided to cancel the subscription, and Higgsfield was offering some deals on it, and then also some warnings that, hey, all this stuff you've created in terms of like elements and characters and all that, it'll get deleted if you don't continue the subscription. So just keep that in mind if you're doing the Higgsfield stuff, that you may want to just download everything in case you need to take a break from the subscription. I'm guessing they need more server space or something. Otherwise, it does seem like a reason not to return if any comparable service, you know, really takes off. So there is that. Well, I hope that helps you, dear viewer, and have a great day.